I am Juvencio P. Dominguez, a Filipino citizen. I entered the military service way back 1950 after graduating from the high school. I enlisted as a private in the Philippine military service. Then, when the war broke out in Korea, that was 1950, I volunteered. I was not, I was not, ano yung maswerte? I was not lucky to join the 10th Battalion Combat Team. Then the next battalion, 20th BCT, after a year, forming the 10th BCT, I was not lucky again. On the third time, the 19th BCT, then I was selected. So from that, we were regrouped in Camp Aguinaldo for those volunteers to replace the 20th BCT. We were regrouped there from all volunteers from the armed forces of the Philippines. My rank then was a private first class. I belong to the artillery. So all volunteers were regrouped at Camp Aguinaldo that time. Then, when all the volunteers were there in Camp Aguinaldo, they segregated us from the branches of service where we belong. Because I belong to the artillery, so I was with the artillery group, then the infantry group, the medical group, their group. So when all of those were already grouped, and the size of all those volunteers, I mean the size, the number of people that will go to Korea has been completed, we moved to Fort William Makilyo that time, Fort Bonifacio now. Then we were regrouped then again by branch of services, because I was trained initially from the field artillery, so I was with the artillery. And when everything was grouped already, artillery, infantry, medical, logistics, and others, then we moved again to Fort Bonifacio, Fort William McKinley at that time. So then we started our training. Exactly remember the number of months we were trained. So after the training, there was another group. We were regrouped again to go to Korea. I cannot exactly remember the group where we belong, where I belong. So then we went to Korea. We take the LST that time. You know what is LST? Landing ship tank. The ship of the Philippine Army, of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Landing ship tank. Yeah. They call that LST, landing ship tank. But before sailing to Korea, we retrained in that, Marikina. Marikina at the time was a mountainous area, that's where we trained. After our training, then we were shipped to Korea. That was, if I cannot remember the date, but the month, July 1950. 53, yeah, 53. 1953. So that is it. We sailed to Korea. We rode the the Philippine Navy ship. We call that LST. They call that LST. So we arrived in Korea, July 1950, New Year, 1953. 53? Yeah, 53. Alam niya, hindi ko pa kilala ito noon. Wala pa sa buhay ko noon. So, that is it. We relieved the 28th Battalion Combatant. That was July 1953. Excuse me.
That was the armistice. July 27 was 1953 was an armistice. Do you remember when the war, they signed the ceasefire?
3-5.
Ceasefire. Armistice.
Armistice, yeah, that was already ongoing. The armistice.
So do you remember a little bit about, you know, why it took a long time for them to do the ceasefire agreement? No?
We have no idea about that.
So what did you do during when you weren't fighting?
What did you do?
When you weren't fighting?
Firing? Because I belong to the artillery where, if this is the battlefield, this area, we are about 7 to 10 kilometers at the back because I belong to the artillery canyon. Howitzers ang hawak namin. Hawak ko, hinawakan ko. So, before the infantry people could, advance, we have to train with 105 howitzer ammunition. So, it depends on the front line, how they keep themselves, those people that keep themselves, if the enemy, because there is a radio telecommunication to us, the rear. Kanyon ang hawak namin. So, pag nakuha na, if the enemy has already, move backward, then ceasefire already. The firing of the infantry people there cease already. Ibig sabihin, huminto na ang labanan. But, the Chinese communists, matras na rin sila, nagtago na. Kami, naka-defensive kami, yung frontline people namin, kasi nasa rear kami. If this is the frontline, siguro doon sa somewhere there sa may yung Tigarya kayo, where did you pass by? Coming from Manila, ang kalayo kasi yung frontline, somewhere along shall I say,
Marikina.
no. Somewhere around UP, anong baryo yun? Barangay.
Pansol.
Dito banda rito. Well, that is the approximate distance from our distance to the front line where the enemies, the Chinese, are in trench also there. Ang pagitan lang nila, yung mga trenches, nandito na rin yung our troops, yung UN troops. Ayan. Yeah. So that is it. That is the system of the fight. Normally, the fight in Korea that time is during the night. Pag sa araw. During the day.
Can you look here? Don't look there. Look here and speak a little bit louder.
Yes.
Oh yes. This is the camera. Don't look there. Okay.
The fighting in Korea that time is mostly during the day. During the night. During the night. Excuse me. During the day, very seldom that there is fighting. But we from the rear with holding the howitzers, canyon, we have to fire and fire with our forward observers have seen some movements there, the enemy. They request from us a fire mission from the artillery. Kung wala naman.
So You fought during the 3rd Battalion that saw a lot of battles. A lot of battles, right?
Maybe,
Many battles, many combat.
Yeah.
Fight, yes.
engagement.
Yes,
for
many
the-
engagement, right?
Okay. As I said, the fighting during that time was mostly during the night
Mm-hmm.
because they know the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
While we people are new from that place. So, for them, they prepare to fight during the night.
Mm-hmm.
While during the day, we keep on depending also our positions. Like them also, they are defending their position. But when darkness starts, it's like fiesta.
So when do you sleep?
Uh, in our system, in the artillery, because we have the howitzer, we are 10 in a team. We divided by into 3. So the first group starts at 6 o'clock, then up to 10 o'clock, then up to 3 o'clock, then up to 5 o'clock. Because wala na yan. That is
And you
the sys-
rotate.
Yeah, we rotate, right? Yeah.
Mm.
We rotate each other.
Did any of the
That
you,
I'm referring only to the artillery. I do not know with the infantry. We call the infantry people, those walking people in the front line.
oh.
In the artillery, you do not talk. We have big guns, so we have
Super bazooka.
ah,
Super bazooka. I saw super bazooka.
bazooka.
Yeah.
For those people in the front line, bazooka. We have that. They have that. But we in the rear, it is the howitzer, 105 howitzer that we handle.
What?
105 howitzer
What is that?
in our place.
What is that?
Canyon.
Cannon. Cannon. Oh.
Cannon. Yeah. We handle cannon. So, yeah,
Wow.
that's why sometimes I cannot understand it. Because
Oh.
it will, during the night, how much our ears are,
Oh.
up to now, I cannot, this especially the right one, because I used to fire the cannon. So the blast of the cannon will affect your
Oh.
ears.
No earplugs?
No earphone. They do not encourage us. Our officers at the time will not, excuse me,
Oh God.
will not tolerate that. So when you hear, especially myself, I was the one who is pulling the lanyard of the howitzer, I will just, no, you do that. You cannot, you just do that. For those who cannot, let's say I'm the one firing the howitzer. If you cannot, if you do not, what to call that, I'm the only one pulling it. So, but there is a command. There is a command on the, we have the command in the rear. Let's say these are the gate, mga around 50 meters back. That is the one giving the command. When they give the command, say, there are 6 guns. But they are just shell something that is the command. So, when the 6 guns are ready, you report to the one giving the command. Number 1, ready, 2, ready. Not in that line also, but if number 1 is faster, number 1. And number 6 again, yes, there are 6 guns to be fired. Then, when that 6 guns are ready, the command post now, we call that command post. Ready, because there is the one pulling the lanyard. Fire! Everybody fire. It's the system in there.
What do you think about Filipinos' contributions in the Korean War?
Filipinos?
Yes. Because there's, as you know, there's 21 nations that fought in the Korean War, right? All over the world. But what's so special about Filipinos?
I cannot exactly describe it, but I belong to the artillery, as I said. It's about 7 to 8 kilometers away from the front line, from the infantry people. We call that the infantry people, those who are engaged in fighting. And so I could not assess. But what we hear from them, if the fighting starts, because the fighting starts the moment it gets dark, it starts already up to the morning when it is already clear again. That is how we fight. They fight.
You're part of the association, right? You're a member of the association. Pep,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I'm a member of
So-
the Pep Talk Veterans
yes.
Association.
Aren't you proud of the association? You're part of the member,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, for let's say an American or some Korean, they want to know about Filipinos in the Korean War. What would you say? Okay, we did this. We were something special about Filipinos.
No, there is no such like that. We are equal there. Some, unlike other UN troops that time, especially what do you call this, Thailanders, they cannot understand English. They cannot understand English, and some others cannot understand English. While we Filipinos, we talk English with the Americans and other UN troops.
So it was easy to communicate.
Yes.
Yes, very easy to communicate, which is very important. Communication is very
Communication,
important.
yes.
It's very important.
Important.
So they relied on you for other, right? They relied on you. Like Ethiopians, they couldn't speak English well, right?
Yeah.
Turkish, they couldn't speak English well, right? Yeah.
You do like that to them.
Oh.
When the Turkish are there, they cannot understand. We cannot also understand. No, like that. That's what we
you-
left them already.
Do you remember seeing Greeks, other people? Do you remember?
Other nation?
Yes.
You mean?
Yeah.
Yes, Thailanders. What other nation are there?
Greece.
Plenty, all United Nations. I cannot exactly remember. What I can always remember is Thailander, Filipino.
Greece.
Hindi ko na, I cannot remember.
And do you remember seeing Koreans? Do you remember
Yeah,
seeing
Koreans.
Koreans?
The Koreans.
Civilians?
There are troops from Koreans there already, but it's very hard to say something about the Koreans.
Children, orphans?
Yeah, children, orphans, plenty. Chop chop, when you meet them, you go to Seoul, chop chop, especially we'll see Filipinos, because Filipinos are very, what do you call that? We have pagkain. Bigay kami ng bigay. Chilies yun.
They were so poor.
Yes,
Yeah.
not so poor. Talagang poor.
But now,
Yeah.
right? You visited Korea. They're big now, right?
Yeah.
Big.
Oh, ang galing na nila.
Yeah, tall. And
Talk. Before, they cannot talk English. Now, they are good in English.
yes.
Yeah.
You-
I've been to, how many times did we go to Korea for the revisit program? Mga 3 beses nakapunta tayo.
Ikaw, mga sampu,
No, flip.
ako,
Wait.
Wow.
Yeah, been there in Korea.
It's like amazing, right? Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
You can see the improvement, the devastated areas. You cannot remember anymore where was the fighting.
I hope you know that. I hope you're very proud.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course
And
naman.
we're very thankful. We're very grateful. We're very grateful.
Other nations, believe sila sa Pilipino, number 1. We can speak English.
Yes. And you were experienced from World War II.
No, I did not speak.
No. I know not you, but Philippines.
Yeah, Philippines.
Philippines fought in World War II, so you had a trained army. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for your time and your service very much.